equal with those who are debating in the monastery for lifetime, and the abbots find it quite difficult to debate with him.
The next exam was at Sera Monastery. The whole of the Dalai Lama's government travelled with him, allowing him to consult with them about the growing tension in Lhasa. At the same time, he had to prepare for the next series of debates, but the abbots each had their own individual style of arguing.
In Sera Monastery, you see, when you debate with the opponent, good scholar, then their answer is something logical or something, you see, they valid, meaningful. In Sera Monastery, one abbot, not that much scholar, not that top. So you see, from my side, you see, the preparation, if answer come this way, yes, this is the way to argue. If this way, if answer has come this kind of answer, then yes, already prepared. And his answer, unexpected answer. So then my tutor noticed that, then he very kindly, stop, now finish. Okay. That's tremendous relief.
The last of preliminary exams was some distance from Lhasa, at Ganden Monastery. Ironically, the examinations at Ganden proved to be a brief period of respite for the Dalai Lama. Thousands more refugees had fled the fighting in the east and arrived in Lhasa. A huge number are now camped around the outskirts of the city. Tensions with the occupying Chinese, who had been in Tibet for about 9 years, were high. There were food shortages in Lhasa and rumours about massacres in eastern Tibet, and also rumours about the destruction of sacred sites. Meanwhile, the Dalai Lama still had his final exam to take. The Dalai Lama returned to Lhasa and continued to prepare for his final exam. Amidst increasingly disturbing reports of Chinese atrocities, he attempted to concentrate on his studies. He took solace in Buddha's teachings that one's enemy is one's greatest teacher, and to have compassion for all sentient beings. The final exam was arranged to take place at the same time as the Mulam New Year festival. There were 30,000 monks in the city, and pilgrims were arriving from all over Tibet. The Jokang temple was full to bursting. The cabinet, civil officials, and all the senior abbots and monks were present.
At that time, things were very tense. On the one hand, a very solemn and grand ceremony was taking place. On the other hand, we were in a very dangerous and tense situation.
There are a lot of rumors about danger to his security, and the threat perception was very high. And therefore, it was very tight security arrangements used to be there, and that was a bit annoying, and that was not a consonance with the monastic atmosphere. So a lot of soldiers with guns and very attentive and with walkie-talkies. These are not familiar with the people. So that was a tense and also the joyful. These are going together.
Gun emplacements were built. There were Chinese carrying rifles patrolling the rooftops opposite. Everyone, government officials, the clergy, the people, were there for the religious function of the 13th, but they saw clearly the Chinese soldiers walking around on the rooftops.
I was involved in organizing the event. In this emergency situation, there was nothing we could do. We asked some of the monk officials to disguise themselves as ordinary people and mingle with the public and to act like spies.
On the one hand, the ordinary people and the aristocrats were all dressed up in their finest. On the other, right next door, the Chinese were making elaborate military preparations, with soldiers carrying rifles as if they might attack at any moment. It was unbelievable that these two extraordinary situations could be happening at the same time. The position between the Chinese and the Tibetans was becoming irreconcilable. It was an incredible situation that was unfolding. If you had told an outsider, they wouldn't believe you. But that's how it was.
One aspect, the whole atmosphere is so tense. Many people actually felt whether this big gathering can take place or not, because it's so much tense. But then everything go very smoothly. So everybody very happy. My final examination, successful. I think very successful. And also, I myself, from the corner of my mind, another thing is, now no more any lesson.
The Dalai Lama returned to the Norba Linka with his full retinue, but this time he was accompanied by armed guards. Little did he know that this 1,000-year-old ceremonial procession through Lhasa would be his last. The Chinese Governor-General of Tibet invited Dalai Lama to see a dance troupe at the Chinese military headquarters. In the name of dispensing with formality, the Chinese requested that he attend with unarmed bodyguards. Worried that a refusal would worsen the fragile situation, the Dalai Lama accepted, but the news soon spread.
The Tibetan people came pouring into the Noble Linka, and their spokesmen forced their way into our official meetings. So His Holiness didn't go. This meant that any communication between the Chinese and the Tibetans had completely broken down. As this had happened, everybody felt it wasn't safe for His Holiness to stay. You could never tell what the Chinese might do. So everyone wanted him to leave as soon as possible. Although that was what everyone was thinking and what everybody wanted, no one dared say it out loud. We were all terrified.
The Dalai Lama received news that the Chinese were planning to attack the crowd surrounding the Noble Linka and bomb the building. Convinced that if he left, the people would be saved, he decided he had to leave.
Of course, I think topmost in my mind is fear, sadness, and almost like the feeling of desperate. And also leaving some of my close friends, sweepers, or some monks who look after temples or the libraries in Nulinga, and including my dog. So as a human level, very sad, one factor. Then also, several thousand Tibetan, suppose different Noble Linka already gathered there. So that also additional worry. If something happens, then thousands of people will die. Then also, my own life, there is danger. One person's sort of future, but the future of Tibet also is related. So therefore, anxiety, fear, little doubt, hesitation, and sadness, all mixed, very much mixed.
That night, the Dalai Lama escaped from the Noble Linka, disguised as a Tibetan soldier.
I had an indescribable feeling. On the one hand, I was exultant that His Holiness was able to leave. On the other hand, I was very sad when I saw him. Unlike the usual protocol and fanfare, He left wearing an ordinary brown uniform, carrying a rifle like a soldier.
Then next day, reach southern Tibet. Then fear of my life, then no longer.